Tanya, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Tanya supports up-and-coming and established musicians from all over the world, and she runs a chamber music festival every summer in Austria, and in New York City, she runs Roadmaps Festival, which humanizes the news through music. And I'd like to ask you first, how can our youth appreciate and cultivate music, especially now in light of COVID?
That's a really, really good question. I mean, I think that it's kind of an amazing time that we have families at home together for an extended period of time without all the kind of crazy running around that families have to go through. So, you know, it's almost kind of going back to another era in a sense where life is slower. And I think that we can kind of learn from also what other generations have done. I mean, music should be about communication, it should be about community, it should be about family. And I think being even about family can be, you know, incredibly touching in a time even like COVID, because I don't think it matters whether you're a high-class professional musician or just starting to play an instrument. But, you know, music is storytelling and it's communication. And I think that even just through Zoom playing a piece for a young child to maybe a grandparent in another home can be an incredibly powerful thing. So I think music is, you know, a shared humanity and a shared community that I think is really coming to light at this time.
And maybe it's an opportunity now, like you said, it's going back to a bygone era where we can appreciate it together, not individually on our own playlists.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think it also comes down to like our perfectionist mentality. And, you know, and I think we as parents and as, you know, adults can be an example by even just showing our kids that it doesn't have to be a perfect rendition of anything, but we can all be learning and it's all about the process.
I'll share with you, Tanya has been my inspiration. Tanya is a world-renowned classically trained pianist, and I actually bought a keyboard. And I did, and I'm hacking away at the Greek lyric pieces right now. So
really, I think by parents showing that as an example is great for the kids. And then doing it together, you know, maybe trying to do a duet really badly, or, you know, playing for a friend over the internet can be, you know, way more fun than we ever imagined. You know?
So I'd love to ask you, there's been a lot of talk about our artists and creatives hurting economically, financially during this time. And I don't think many people really understand the funding model, especially our youth, and schools typically, when they cut their school budgets, will look to cut the arts. Can you speak a little bit about the funding model and what we may be able to do to help support the arts right now?
I mean, I think that's a really, you know, huge and complicated question. And I wish I knew the exact answer to that as I try and navigate, you know, my various nonprofits through this period. I mean, I think that what this is teaching us is that we do need funds for a rainy day, this being a very rainy period. And, you know, we don't have as much government funding as other countries. And I think obviously through this, we are going to be forced, I mean, or the government is going to be forced to support certain arts institutions and nonprofits through this. And a lot of foundations also stepping up and coming together to make sure that, you know, they survive. In terms of how kids can support, you know, I think that just keeping them engaged and showing them, I mean, there's such an extraordinary amount of incredible theater and dance and music that's being shown for free, crazily right now over the internet. And just exposing them so that, you know, I think even having a relationship with any kind of artistic output on the internet will lead to a want to see that in person. I really do believe that.
Has this situation opened new ideas or thoughts to you, opportunities? Have you learned something new that you'd like to share?
I think that this is just pushing where music would have been going to a much more kind of intense level. I think music is going to a more kind of intimate, community level experience. I think people are looking for interesting venues, different ways of relating to an artist. And I think what's amazing is that through this period, you know, one can have a much more, we're seeing not just musicians, but we're seeing late night TV show hosts, everything, everyone's at home, and you're seeing a very different dynamic. And I think that's something that will be interesting to come out of. And then you look at how music is just so used right now to come together as a community, whether you're looking at, like, you know, these block, you know, in Italy, where people are you know, playing music out of their balcony. Music is so necessary to feel a sense of belonging and to participate also, you know, and I think that can work across every age group right now and every demographic.
Well, thank you so much, Tanya.